Hey, this is Jay Gibbons. You're listening to Section 336, Baltimore's Best Sports Talk.
Section 336, Section 336, Section 336. It's the new Baltimore generation talking about the Orioles and the Ravens. And someday Josh, Bert, and Matt might even find...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, Next Generation of Baltimore Sports Talk. I am your endearingly sitting host, Matt Sroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Sroka.
Did you like I shortened our intro a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that.
For some reason, I only had the long one with me, and I didn't want to sit through that, so I shortened it. I'm sure the listener will also appreciate that.
Yeah, and I'm sure the listeners appreciate us having a show this week. We took off last week for like the first time ever. We broke our Cal Ripken-like streak.
Right.
As Josh made his move to Florida.
Well, yeah, last week was a whole lot of stuff going on, and it's the camp I do every year, which I've got to have – at some point we got to have a strawberry segment because I got to share a story from the camp in our strawberry segment today because it was a real life – like I couldn't believe it as it was happening. So we'll share that in a little bit. But, yeah, now I am in Florida. I'm in a shady hotel room. Right down the street from my office. Actually, it was like 10 miles from my office, so not right down the street. It's just one really, really long road. Because that's what everything is in Florida, I'm starting to learn. It's just a bunch of really long roads. And you hop on 95 and go like 90 miles an hour anywhere you want to go. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being on here. Bert's not here. And I'd just like to point out that Josh just moved to Florida, started a new job yesterday, and is on the show today. Bert, meanwhile, had an extensive to-do list at his house as he's sitting at home, as his kids are here with me, actually, in the Outer Banks on vacation. He's at home with a long to-do list.
He doesn't even have his kids.
He has Albie. That's it. Yeah.
And he's worried about packing.
Yeah. In fairness, his wife is out of town, so it's just him and Albie.
That doesn't make it any better.
It doesn't. Well, I know, but my point is like,
I thought you were going to go with, in fairness, Bert takes every summer off anyway.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. In fairness, Bert really kind of it tunes out during the summer, which is a shame because that's when most of the baseball happens is during the summer.
Right.
And this is a baseball podcast, so it's a kind of a shame.
Now Bert's coming down and joining you, right?
Yeah, I think he's leaving tomorrow. He'll get here either really late tomorrow or early morning the next day.
All right. And I think my wife's coming down as well.
Yes, I heard that.
Not sure if you know that.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know when she's coming, but I heard she's coming.
Tomorrow. Once she gets her replacement phone from T-Mobile because she broke her phone. Because she put it underwater and said, isn't my phone waterproof? And it's not.
Find out the hard way.
She's got a new one coming tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, my point was, well, if Bert's joining you and the two of you are together,
yes.
Does that mean that we can count on Bert for the next episode?
If we do it before we get out of here, I think he's leaving on Sunday, so we'd have to do it before Sunday.
Oh, he's trying to sneak in and out between episodes.
Yeah, so maybe we can push. We can talk about it. Maybe we can do a show on Saturday night or something.
Because when Bert gets down to my state of Florida, which is now my area, not him, he's coming down as the visitor, we lose him. Yeah. And apparently every night Disney night. Yeah,
and if we're lucky, we'll get a call in from like Pirates of the Caribbean ride or something.
Right, or waiting in line.
Yeah.
Well, here now's our chance. We'll try to wrangle him in for at least another episode or two because you'll have his attention for a little bit in the Outer Banks, and then I'm gonna have to go see him at some point when he's down here because he won't be that far from me.
Yeah, but just a couple hours away, right?
I think it's like an hour and a half. It might be just as close as his home. Not too much further than his home to my Arnold home.
And maybe he could be a guest on your new daily podcast.
Yeah, my new daily podcast. I started it 2 days ago. I told you all that once I got down here, July 1st, I would start it. And the first episode was rough. I think the second episode was better. And tomorrow's third episode will be even better, I'm sure. So it's fun to try to experiment with it. We're doing it on Anchor, which does cool things where people can like send voicemails in response and all. So we might incorporate all that stuff into the big show soon. But 336 Daily is a chance for me to test things out like that.
Yeah.
So it's its own feed. It's not on Apple Podcasts yet, but it's on like Pocket Cast and Anchor and something else. Maybe Google. It's on a few, and by next week it'll be on all the major players.
Yes.
But check out 336 Daily. I'll tweet it out. We're keeping it as a separate feed so that I can experiment with different things with it.
Yeah. Well, good luck talking on a daily basis about what I think is the most uninteresting baseball team, Orioles team, that we've had in a really long time. I'm starting to get really sick of this team, to be honest. And I should be optimistic because this is where we're talking today. The Orioles have been playing pretty well. We're playing Tampa Bay now. But the series before, we took 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, our first series win in a long, long time. And we won 2 of those games, 13-0. And so there are some positive things happening here in Birdland. But overall, I'm kind of sick of what I'm watching.
Well, the interesting thing has been the start and pitching.
Right.
We knew Means and Cashner were good guys, and we got to give Means a whole lot of credit for getting into the All-Star game. He totally deserves that, and it's fun to have a player who actually earned his way onto the All-Star game. No Ty Wigginton effect here.
Yeah.
But those guys pitched really well, and then on Sunday, pitched, and they still held the Rays to 2 runs, or the Indians to 2 runs.
Yeah.
So
there's some good signs there. It is almost like it's a little bit, if you're looking at the start and pitching, it's becoming a little bit ridiculous how there's a new starter for kind of every game. I mean, at the end of the season, we're going to have a pretty extensive list of people who have started games. You say it's fun. I don't know.
Oh, I love the around. I think it's around maybe 2:00 where I get the little tweet. Is it Tom? Tom Eshelman is starting tonight, and then it's who's Tom Eshelman? Google. Oh yeah, we got him a few weeks ago. He's making his major league debut tonight, but then he pitched pretty well.
Yeah, he
2 runs, 5 innings.
Yeah, he actually did pitch pretty well. Our bullpen was terrible, but he pitched pretty well. So but it's like we pick up a guy from another team, we send him to the minors. If he makes a start, we're lucky. He's immediately caught up because we literally have no starting pitchers in AAA, and so we're quickly trying to pick these guys up and start them. Or sometimes we're going with the with the opener strategy. But it's really the problem with the opener strategy because it seems like it would make sense with the Orioles because the Orioles don't have enough starting pitchers. So it sounds like it would make sense to go with the opener strategy. But the thing that doesn't work is when you have a really bad bullpen, the opener strategy doesn't work because you have to use like 7 bullpen arms when you're the Orioles. And it screws you up for the whole that whole week because you, again, don't have good starting pitching.
And to do the bullpen strategy, your bullpen's got to be pretty good. Our bullpen is horrible. So what we do instead is we're using the Norfolk shuttle routine where you bring someone up and then you designate him and assume no one will pick him up and bring up the next guy. Have you ever heard of this guy that pitched tonight, Asher Wojciechowski?
Yeah, when did you say his name? Thank you.
Well, I just like that his first name's Randall, but he doesn't go by Randall.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, it's Randall Asher Wojciechowski.
Yeah, I liked him his name on the back of his jersey, and it was the big old arc going all the way to the armpits. I like it when the name is so big that it has to go on an arc all the way to the armpits.
I do like that as well, because what they do not want to do is 2 lines. You got to squeeze all that into 1 line.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long your name is. You got to get in 1 line. You got to get your name in there.
You think they have some custom letters that are a little smaller, just slightly? Like we're gonna just go down like 2 font sizes, just so we can squeeze it in and it still look like it matches.
Yeah, and I wonder about the spacing between the letters too. I wonder if they mess with the spacing of the letters.
They definitely do. Definitely squeeze them. Are the corners all touching each other?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you mentioned I wanted to get to your Strawberry of the Week story, but you mentioned John Means, who is well deserving. He's having a great year. Yeah. But the talk in Birdland was less about John Means getting it and more about how Trey Mancini got snubbed. Josh, are you with everyone here? Do you think that Trey Mancini got snubbed from the All-Star game?
Trey Mancini's having a great year, and he's having a surprisingly good year. But I don't know where you would put him in the All-Star game. He doesn't have a position. He's not one of the top, 5 outfielders in the American League. He's not the top DH in the American League. I don't know if he's the top first baseman in the American League, but he doesn't play enough of any of these positions. So I get the idea of, offensively, he's having this amazing year, and the Orioles got to have someone. But if you're only picking one from the Orioles, which, let's be honest, the Orioles suck, you're only going to send one from the worst team in baseball. I think John Means is more deserving, even though the Orioles desperately want Trey Mancini to be the face of this organization.
Right. A lot of people were upset by it. Trey Mancini.
Were you?
Yeah, I was upset by it.
Okay.
I was upset by it because I think he's not just having a good year. He's having, if you look at the numbers, and a lot of people are citing Mookie Betts specifically on a guy who's not having nearly as good as a year as Trey Mancini. And if you just look at Trey Mancini's his splits, 302 batting average, 359 OBP, 5.42 slugging. Just if you look at even outfielders, because he's played mostly
outfield.
Right, but if you ignore the defensive stuff and just offensively, because it's kind of what we base All-Stars off of, his numbers are deserving compared to other outfielders to be in the All-Star game. I don't know how you can have, if you're Trey Mancini, a better season than you're having this year. So I think he did get snubbed. I don't think it's ridiculous either that a terrible team gets 2 All-Star players. Like, I think John Means and Trey Mancini both should have went. The Orioles are not the worst team.
What position do you send him as?
Outfielder. You take up Mookie Betts, you put him in there. And there's some talk recently that just today, Hunter Pence got hurt and that he might be an injury replacement guy. We'll wait and see.
Gotcha. I believe that's how Tillman got in a couple years ago.
Yes. Yeah, because we were having debate if Tillman was John Means was the first starter since Chris Tillman to make it to an All-Star game. It depends how you do that, right? Was he selected or injured reserve?
If you wear a jersey to the All-Star game that says American League, you're an All-Star representative for the Orioles.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't matter how you get in there.
Well, I would have liked to see Trey into the home run derby. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I want some young blood into that home run derby.
Yeah. So, I wasn't even outraged enough to tweet about it that I was upset about Trey Mancini because I don't really care about the All-Star game at all.
Right. We know it's a popularity contest anyway.
Yeah. And I don't even understand how the voting works. I literally don't understand how it works. But I thought he should have got selected in there even if he didn't get voted in. So I thought – and I also like how this is the only time people use the word snubbed, yet they use it all the time. Everyone goes around talking about someone being snubbed. And I like that. I'm going to try using that word snubbed more in everyday conversation. But it's kind of hard to say you were snubbed unless you're talking about an All-Star game. How else in normal conversation would you use the word snubbed just in everyday conversation?
I don't know. Maybe Bert snubbed us tonight.
Okay. Yeah,
would that work?
I guess. But see, that's even in a slightly different context than being snubbed from something, as if he wasn't invited on here.
The definition for snubbed is to rebuff, ignore, or spurn disdainfully.
Yeah,
I would say Bert snubbed us.
Yeah, that's true. And I by that definition, Trey Mancini got snubbed. But the reason the Orioles are the worst team in baseball, the Orioles could be an all-star team with, not an all-star team. They could be a playoff team with Trey Mancini and John Means as their 2 best players. That's conceivable.
Sure.
The problem with the Orioles is their secondary players are so beyond terrible, right? Our starting pitchers outside of Bundy and Cashner and Means is an absolute carousel joke. I think we've had 15 starting pitchers already this year. It's just a joke.
Right. Now, everyone joked about how Duquette was the king of the Norfolk Shuffle.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on with Hyde and Elias, that's the new Norfolk Shuttle. And it's weird because it's not bring up the guys who are doing well at Norfolk. It's bring up guys that we don't care about.
Yeah, and that's why I said this is in some ways is the most uninteresting team like that we're ever going to see because it's no prospects because they're purposely not bringing up prospects. They could bring up Zach Lothar, but they're not. And I think they're right. Like they're doing this the right way, but it means they literally have to just throw anyone out who they can call up and then option down or DFA the next day. And so they don't want to use any players' options, and they want to be able to get guys who will clear waivers. So we get a bunch of bums up here.
Exactly. It's always guys that they know they can DFA and no one's going to pick up. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And so that's how we get Matt Witherspoon up here and pitching in games. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
So you're not going to see – and that's a little frustrating. But I was surprised that we have one of the youngest teams in all of baseball, which is kind of surprising because I feel like we're using all these bum veterans. But like Eshelman's a young guy. They're just guys who haven't got – I think he's 25. So there's still young players, and you hope – I don't know, maybe one of these guys hits. But you feel like with all these pitchers, they're just killing time until the young pitchers get ready and are there.
Yeah, and some of these guys, maybe when they DFA them, they're hoping someone will take them. No one does.
Yeah. I don't know. There's limited options. So I would like to see Trey Mancini, but he was snubbed. But that's fine. I am excited, especially because Trey Mancini's never been an all-star. And you thought if this isn't the year, then when? And John Means a little rookie. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's exciting to have a rookie who thought maybe he was getting sent down when he got called into the manager's office to be told he was an all-star. That's fun. That's a fun story. I like that.
Yeah,
but
I
find that
it's amazing. It's kind of amazing, right? Because you look at Kevin Gossman and Jake Arrieta, going all the way to Jake Arrieta, and of course Dylan Bundy more recently, and Hunter Harvey even more recently. All the top prospect arms never work out. And here's this no-name John Means, who was never a high prospect, and he all of a sudden becomes our first all-star starting pitcher since Chris Tillman.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see if it can hold or if it's like a Gonzalez situation. Remember how Gonzalez had an amazing 1 year, and then he was just the worst pitcher in the organization.
It happens all the time. I mean, it happened with Bud Norris, right? We traded and got Bud Norris over here, and he helped us get to the playoffs, and then he went back to being, at best, a back-end bullpen arm. So, yeah, I'm curious to see if John Means is for real, if he can keep this going. It looks like he's for real, though, but we'll see.
Right.
And Andrew Kashner picked up another win. I mean, John Means Andrew Kashner has been a nice 1-2 punch.
I saw people talking this weekend about how if Kashner continues to pitch this way, he can get us some value at the trade deadline. Is Kashner really going to bring you anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if someone trading for a starting pitcher, they're trading for a 1 or 2. Because usually, right, it's teams that are already going to be in the playoffs, and they're just looking for that. Yeah. Kashner isn't going to pitch in game 1 or game 2 of a playoff game. You want Kashner to be your 4th or 5th starter to help you get in the playoffs. So if there's a team that's looking for a 4th or 5th starter, or if there's a team that really needs a long man in the bullpen, I think Kashner could fit that. But I don't think you give up anything much for that for a 4th starter.
Right. I mean, I think of him as kind of like when the Orioles went after Bud Norris.
Yeah.
Just needed an extra guy in there.
Yeah, so you might get an 18-year-old prospect. I don't think you're getting anything.
Right.
I don't think you're getting a top 100 prospect for Andrew Kashner.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, but
I mean,
this is Elias' first trade deadline, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if he can do better than it'll be a good time to kind of reevaluate Duquette's trades last year and see how all that panned out as well a year in. So it'll be something to talk about in the next few weeks.
Yeah, speaking of Elias, let's also hit this, and then we can get to your Strawberry of the Week story. Free International Signing Day was today.
Yeah, 27 guys.
27 guys no one's ever heard of, and we're all pumped about it. And most of them are 16.
Most of them were right. Most of them were born in 2002, some in 2001, and some in 2003. So, 16, 17-year-old kids.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And no huge name guys. Like, we didn't get any of the top prospects because apparently those guys were already spoken for. So we're working from behind. We spent a few guys signed for about $400,000. So we still have money left to spend.
Could you imagine being a kid from the Dominican Republic or Venezuela or Aruba, Bahamas, Colombia, any of these countries where we got guys, and you're giving a 16-year-old kid $400,000?
Yeah.
Now you're locking them up for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But still, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to me. Those 27 guys, almost all of them are from the Dominican Republic.
16 of them.
Okay, and then there was a handful from Venezuela, and a shout out to the guy from the Bahamas and one from Aruba, right?
One from the Aruba, one from Bahamas, and one from Colombia.
It's crazy to me because, and I think this is typical for all of baseball, to be most players come from the DR. But that's a pretty small country. Like, it seems like there's a whole lot of baseball players coming from this really small country. It's crazy to me a little bit.
Percentage. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because it's a area where they can play baseball year round. They've got the baseball schools. I don't know. I think it's similar to like a lot of baseball players come from Florida and places south like that, Arizona, Las Vegas, places where they can play baseball as one sport year round instead of where we've got you play baseball, then you play football, then you play basketball.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, there's 300 million people in the U.S. There's 10 million people in the DR, except I feel like 9 million of them are trying to play baseball professionally. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, I wonder if it's the number one. It can't be number one, but I wonder where it lists as far as like jobs for like when you grow up in the DR. Like, is baseball like most people strive to like? Is it baseball kind of like if you grew up in West Virginia and your dad was a coal miner?
Oh,
like
yeah, I think it's probably more extreme than that.
Is it the same type of thing?
Because you have guys being drafted when they're 16, right? So it's like that's I'm sure, for the majority of kids there, right? Like boys, if you're in any way athletic, that's your life until you're 16 and you hope you get drafted.
Right, but here's my ignorance. Isn't 16 like? Do they don't go to high school till 18? Isn't 16 kind of for the Dominican Republic and a lot of these countries where you're then like, all right, you're a man, go work? Isn't that around the age of 16?
Yeah, I guess.
Or am I just stupid?
I don't know the
schooling.
The schooling. I don't know if they're required to go to school until a certain age. I don't know how that works. I don't know how any of that works. But like in all this, actually, all of that, you bring up a good point, because all that stuff with international signings, I always found a bit shady, right? Because it's all kind of through middlemen. We're talking about boys here, and it's a lot of money involving boys and handlers, guys who can easily be taken advantage of, and it's kind of a free-for-all. Right. And it always just makes me it makes me I don't like any of this stuff at all with international free agent signings. I think it's necessary. I'm glad the Orioles are involved, but I don't like the whole process. It makes me cringe.
Yeah, and remember, we talked about them all being 16, 17-year-old boys, but remember, how many times do we hear about how, like, that's not quite their age?
Yeah.
And, like, their age is a lie, and it's like, oh, he's 20 years old. No wonder he's such a big 16-year-old.
Yeah, you see the Little League World Series. Even in America, you see the Little League World Series, and it's the 12-year-olds, and they all look like they're 18.
Right. Yeah, that 12-year-old's got a mustache.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's all shady.
But anyway, all these guys we never heard of, and you will never see their names again for at least the next 5 years. So that's that. When you talk about international signings being a long process, it is like legitimately a long process. Like, you won't hear these guys' names again for a handful of years.
But it's a big deal that the Orioles are involved.
Yeah.
And 27 guys from like countries that normally bring baseball players and spending some real money in there. That's big news for the Orioles. That's something we haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like the MLB draft all over again, right? You get about the same number of guys. And yet the only problem is it's almost like everyone's been doing 2 drafts every year, and the Orioles just been participating in one draft. So it was asinine.
And that's part of the controversy with the international sign-ins is that there is no draft.
Right.
It's a free-for-all.
Right. Now it's a little better now because they have the signing bonus pools, so you just can't spend whatever you want. So it's a little bit better now, but I don't know if that's better. I guess you can take advantage of players more and lowball them offers more, and you don't have the Yankees and Dodgers signing everybody. But it's
right, but you still have to go out there and convince the guy to sign with the Baltimore Orioles, who have very little presence in the Dominican Republic, versus like maybe the Yankees that have like 2 teams playing in the DR for high school kids and stuff, whatever, you know?
Yeah. And the more you sign guys, the more you kind of become trusted and known as a good spot.
Right. And not to mention, I know that I like the Orioles because this kid I looked up to is now on the signed by the Orioles. Sure.
Well, I saw one of I forget who it was, but one of the signings, his agent was Miguel Tejada. I thought that was interesting. Kind of a former Oriole connection there. And I assume
that just sounds like Miguel Tejada wanted to get a little bit more money.
Yeah, I assume it was that Miguel Tejada.
The numbers baseball players are making today.
Yeah, seriously. But we're going into the All-Star break. We're playing Tampa. I've been really pleased with some things. I was watching the game tonight on Tuesday night. Francisco had another pass ball. I don't know why Francisco can't catch the ball every time. I guess this is when they talk about like Francisco is having trouble developing defensively. Are they just talking about like he can't catch the ball? Like it goes past them every now and then? I don't know. But I thought Francisco's had some really good at-bats. He's swinging the bat well. He's had a really kind of a big power surge this year. If you look at Norfolk combined with Camden Yards with the time with the Orioles, Francisco power numbers, he's doubling his power numbers from any years past. And we're just halfway through the season. So I've been really pleased with Francisco's bat. Just to catch the ball, son. Other than that, I'm excited for what I've seen from Francisco. I think Tony, as manager Hyde says, Tony Santander, I think he's been really good. Both defensively, he's been really impressive. He had a really nice catch tonight. And offensively, he's been better than I thought. So I'm excited about Tony Santander. So those are a couple of bright spots I've noticed recently.
Yeah, I didn't. I totally agree on both those guys. And I don't mind. I keep going back and forth, and I think Brandon Hyde is doing a fine job with these guys. I feel like he's kind of I like that he's frustrated when guys aren't doing well. I like that he expresses that. I like that he goes out and argues when stupid plays are obviously screwed up and called wrong by stupid umpires. So I'm enjoying watching Brandon Hyde manage these Orioles as well. You can't put wins or losses at this point on him because he's playing with crap. You gave him no cards.
Yeah. I mean, no one – I don't care about Brandon Hyde. No one cares about a manager of a losing team, right? The only times that people really care is if the team has expectations and does not live to those expectations. Sure. That's when managers get fired. When you have a team that has no expectations, the manager has no expectations. So, yeah, I'm with you. I can't say he's doing a good job or a bad job. I can say he's doing what we expect him to do, right? The team's supposed to stink, he's doing that.
Right, and the team seems to be having fun, and the team seems to like him, and that's all you can ask for. When the team's losing, that's what you want your manager to do, is keep them together and not have them lose their heads.
Yeah. Here's the can I just go through this real quick, and then we can get off it? But the recent transactions for the Orioles, I just pulled it up. So today, they activated right-handed pitcher Josh Lucas, and they designated pitcher Matt Witherspoon for assignment. And they also selected the contract of, as you mentioned, Asher Wojciechowski from Norfolk. And then yesterday, they selected Tom Eshelman from Norfolk, and they put Josh Rogers on the 60-day DL or whatever. Then earlier this week, they activated John Means. And the day before that, they put Josh Rogers on the 10-day DL. Then they recalled Paul Fry from Norfolk. The day before that, they claimed Taylor Scott off waivers, so he became a part of the pitching staff. So this is all just within the last week.
And they DFA'd Tanner Scott in there at some point too.
Yeah, so just in the last week, I'm looking at like 11 transactions all involving our pitchers in just a week. 11 transactions involving pitchers, and I didn't even include them all. It's kind of crazy.
Right, and Wachowski didn't pitch great tonight, so they're probably going to send him back down.
Yeah.
Fry pitched tonight, so he might not stick around.
Yeah.
So watch for more of this in the next day or two.
Yeah, it's pretty silly. But Josh, I want to get to your strawberry of the week here.
Oh, okay, all right. So I don't have the little strawberry buttons because I'm still getting things set up here in this awkward hotel room. All right, but I'll try to explain this story really well.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was a total millennial movie.
I love millennials. I love strawberries. Let's go.
All right, so I'm at this middle school camp all week. I go every year. It was my 19th year, probably the last one because I'm moving to Florida, but I'm there every year. And they divide it's a church camp. They divide all the churches up into different teams. So you're the red team, the orange team, the green team, the blue team. And what you do is every day you're playing games and sports and stuff against each other. And you win or you lose. And if you win, you get points. Makes sense. Real simple math. You win, you get points.
Yes, I went to this camp. I remember this. It all makes sense. I think people have gone to
That's true. You went there as a camper.
I did.
Makes all sense. So it all builds up to going into this big thing, this big marathon they call it at the end, which is a kind of a relay race with a bunch of every station's got a different game. Very similar to like in the movie Heavyweights, where they've got the big contest at the end. So similar thing with this, where it's a relay marathon with trivia and different games and stuff you got to do at each thing. So we go into this marathon, and right beforehand they announce at lunch that the blue team is in first place, the red team is in second place, and then it was like yellow, green, orange, something like that. And then we go into the marathon, and the marathon's intense. It kills me because I've got to videotape the whole thing, so I run more than the kids and all. And anyway, red team wins the marathon.
So you're a coconut. Let's clarify. Okay, fine. You're a coconut. We got it. Let's get to the strawberry.
Right. So all right, here we go. So red team wins the marathon. They were in second place. Now they won the marathon. It was like orange got second, blue got whatever, third. And anyway, so we go into the chapel service, and then they go in to announce the winner. Yes. So I'm in charge of all the video stuff. So I tell my cameraman, Mandy being one of them, I said, get cameras on the red team because they won the marathon and they were in second place, and the blue team because they were in first place and they did well in the marathon. So one of these teams is winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, make sense?
Yes.
So the guy in charge of games goes up on stage. He proceeds to give a 15 to 20-minute lecture about how winning doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter if you're in last place, and we're all winners because we're here having fun.
Oh, that's a strawberry speech.
Yeah. So I'm obviously in the back of the room, rolling my eyes, joking with another person like, I can't believe I'm seeing this.
Right, then why are we even competing if the winning doesn't matter?
Right,
what are we even doing?
Exactly. And, I mean, it's 500 middle school kids, and they get into this.
Yeah.
They get into this. So after his lecture, he goes, now we're going to announce the teams that win, the winners. But we're going to start with the last team. And because we're all winners, I want every team to come up here and send someone up to hold the trophy. So even if you're in last place, you're going to get to hold the trophy.
Oh, my.
So all right. So he goes through. And last place is orange. And then,
sounds about right. Orange and black.
Which is weird. Which is weird because Orange came in second in the marathon, and they did okay during the week. So they fell back. They went from like fifth to last. And anyway, then they go like second to last is Red, who was second place going into the marathon and won the marathon, and now they're second to last. So I'm sitting with some pastors from the Red Church, and they're confused.
Yeah,
the leaders and stuff.
Alarm bells are going off.
Anyway. Yeah. So we're like, maybe we missed something. So anyway, you go through it, and the green team won. The green team didn't win anything all week, and they came in like 4 out of 6 in the marathon, something like that, and they won. And their kids are celebrating, and the leaders are celebrating because green team won. And then all of a sudden, all the leaders start looking around, like the guys real high, big up in charge of the camp, the directors and everything. Like we all know something's wrong.
Right.
But what do you do when there's 50 middle school kids celebrating that they won, and there's like 10 leaders celebrating that they won? and everyone else in camp is confused.
This is the Academy Awards or whatever when they pulled the wrong ticket for the best movie of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get any celebration on camera because everyone was stunned and the cameras were in the wrong position.
Oh my!
So what I got was shots of people confused and like and leaders just like with dismay on their face, and then they dismiss everyone, and all of us leaders stand behind and we're like, what happened?
Like, what happened here?
And yeah. So finally we get to the guys who are in charge of the games, and I talk with him, and he said, "Oh, well, the math was really hard. It took us like an hour to do it, and we did it twice." And I'm like, "How is the math hard? You either win and get points or you don't." And they're like, "Well, no, the numbers are really big. It's like 1,300 and something because we have to make it exciting for middle school kids." And I'm like, "Okay, but you still get 1,300 if you win or 0 if you lose." I said, "It's not that hard." And then, so anyway,
that reminds me of The Office when he's like talking about surplus. Talk to me like I'm 5. You have a lemonade stand.
Right, exactly.
You have $2. You're given $2. Right, you only spend $1.70 on the lemonade stand. You have 30 cents left over. Just surplus. Yeah. Hard math here.
Exactly. So anyway, we find out that the big marathon that basically is supposed to be worth more points than anything was worth less than anything of the week, less than the normal games each day, and that they added points for sportsmanship that were worth more than winning games. So the fact that the green team was such a good sport for losing everything, they won everything. They won the whole thing by losing everything. Now, have you ever heard of a strawberry like that? And how does that teach a bunch of middle school kids? And the problem is they put a couple millennials in charge of the games who have never been in charge of the games and clearly have never won any games they played.
Yeah. Well, that's a scary thing, right? Because we always complain about the millennials, but the millennials now are at the age where they're raising kids, right? And so how are a bunch of strawberries going to raise kids? It's like, what's worse? What bruises more easily than a strawberry? We're about to find out.
It's crazy. And obviously we couldn't do anything about it because we have to be all nice and quiet about it. And just like, as the red team kids come up, what happened? Well, your thing broke and your baton broke during the relay, so that cost us some points. Sorry. Like, we're not going to say, "Oh, they gave it to the losers because losers never win." It was crazy.
Yeah, that is very strawberry-ish.
It was yeah. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of millennials look at my house as I try to sell it, and it's total millennial moves in the comments. "Oh, we love your house, but it's not big enough." But if they want it in my price range, but they want a bigger house, or the backyard slopes too much. It's like, okay, you're in Maryland. There's hills all over the place. There's going to be a slight slope. The slope means that water doesn't run into your house and flood your basement.
Yeah. Well, good for that for looking at your house and not still living with their parents. So I guess that's a step that they're trying to make in the right direction.
That's true. Look at the bright side.
Yeah.
Now, if someone would buy my house so my family could come down to Florida and I could move out of this hotel, I'd feel even better about millennials.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. That would be a good thing. Well, that's a good strawberry. That's a good strawberry story. Actually, but I wonder if that guy could become like the commissioner of baseball, because I think the Orioles are really good sports. So maybe that could actually boost Orioles' win total, give them a chance, because they are good sports about losing. We lose with dignity, I think.
Yeah, we lose and we still have fun at it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Hey, did you see the new hot dog race T-shirts?
I did.
That the Orioles are doing?
I did.
I like it. I like that it looks like a minor league promotion, and I like that the Orioles are doing dollar dogs with it, and I like that they're thinking out of the box.
We've come to the point where we literally don't have any players to put on our T-shirts. So we literally have to put a hot dog condiment on the T-shirt for a giveaway. That's where we're at, boys and girls.
That's where we're at. We're at the point where they're not even giving away orange T-shirts.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to want to wear an Orioles shirt elsewhere. So you're getting a red, green, or yellow.
But it makes sense because the people who get, or the things that get the biggest cheers at Camden Yards every night is not Chris Davis. It's not even John Means or All-Star. The things that gets the biggest cheer every single night is the ketchup or mustard or the relish whoever comes in first. So I guess if they get the biggest cheers, they might as well get their own freaking T-shirts. So
right, and we already had the crab hats earlier this year to take care of the crab shuffle.
Yeah, and I saw what they're have a Walk with Elias shirt too that's coming out. You see that?
Yeah, there's a Walk with Elias shirt, and Elias, like the wrestler who came up with the whole Walk with Elias thing, will be at the stadium for pictures and autographs as well. But yeah, the shirt is like the wrestler Elias and Mike Elias both on the shirt. So there's two Eliases on the shirt.
Yeah, I think that's dumb.
I agree. It should have been just our Elias.
No, I don't mean.
Who cares about the WWE?
I don't even think it should be our Elias. What has Elias done for us? Dan Duquette took us to the playoffs a couple of years, and he let us do a division win at the AL East, and he never got a T-shirt.
What, do you want some die with Duquette?
Yeah.
You want to do some die with Duquette?
I'm just saying, why does Elias get a T-shirt when he's done jack squat? Does he get a T-shirt for leading the Orioles to the worst record in the history of baseball? Do you get a T-shirt for that? Sign me up for that. Talk about strawberries. You get a T-shirt just because you're young and cool and exciting, even though you haven't done anything yet, and they're already giving you a T-shirt. I think that sucks. I think a Mike Elias T-shirt sucks.
I'll give you that one. Would you buy a like the Astros had process shirts years ago? Would you like a Orioles process?
Yeah,
shirt?
I'd get behind a process shirt. I would have gotten behind I like our guys Buck Showalter shirts. But don't give me a Manager Hyde shirt. Don't give me a Mike Elias shirt. Two guys who've done jack squat, and now I'm supposed to celebrate them. But I get it. You don't have players to celebrate, so you want to celebrate management. But management hasn't done anything yet. So what do you celebrate?
But I like your idea. Let's now give a Brandon Hyde shirt. Let's do a little hide your kids, hide your wife shirt with Brandon Hyde.
Yeah, when the Orioles were playing, it sounds about right. What are the other in-between innings that they can do T-shirts of? I mean, I think that's where we're at. They're trying to think of all the in-between innings stuff.
Right, because I saw they are also going to have a Stranger Things bobblehead. But they said it's a bobblehead based on the character Dustin from Stranger Things, which I assume means it's Dustin from Stranger Things as a bobblehead.
Oh, that's weird.
They're
going to have two people kissing and do it some kind of kiss cam promotion as well. Give me a break. All right, boys and girls, well, we appreciate you listening. We're going to try to get Bert Rohde in here for a show coming up this week, so you can check out our Twitter for all those updates. Make sure you're watching and checking Josh's Twitter for his daily podcast. Does that have a name, Josh?
Yeah, I'm sticking with our name of 336 Daily. Just makes more sense than Josh Soroka Daily. So
okay, I like that.
Daily. Because I'm thinking by 336 Daily, maybe I'll be able to get you and Bert a little bit on once in a while. Or if we got a topic to not that won't really fit on this show, or we run out of time, something we can throw into there.
Okay, yeah, I got some topics I want to talk about that we can't get into here on the air because a sports podcast that I can get into later.
So I didn't watch the Oriole game tonight because I decided to go out and watch the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
and I got a story about that'll be on 336 Daily about an awkward movie theater experience that has nothing to do with the movie.
All right. I look forward to that daily.
Because I started a new job, and today was day 2, and nobody down here knows that I do a podcast.
Right.
Which means when I run into someone from work at the movie theater, I can share about it on the podcast.
That's right. You better just hope when you get to know them a little bit better, they don't go back and listen to past episodes.
No, it's a sales rep.
They exist on the internet forever.
It's a sales rep that doesn't know yesterday was my first day of work when I met him. And a guy that I probably won't see again.
And you went to the movies together, or you bumped into them there? I don't want to steal your daily here, but
all right. I met him I accidentally bumped into him at the theater. I walked into the theater, and across the room he yells, "Hey, Josh!"
Serendipity.
I say, I don't know anyone down here. I'm in Daytona. And I turn around, and it's this guy. And let's just say that he asks what movie I'm seeing. I tell him I'm seeing Spider-Man. And then I go and I sit in the way back of the theater. And during the first trailer, I see him coming up the stairs. And there's no seats around me, so he's not going to sit with me. He comes up and says, hey, I got you a seat down here with my family.
Really?
And I then, yeah. All right. So to back up, this guy, what he reps is movie theater seats that move. So like when you watch the movie, they move left, right, up, down.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. Yeah.
All that. So I've installed them in theaters in people's homes years ago. I'm not a fan of them.
Okay.
So what I didn't know is that this movie theater that I happened to pick because they had a 6:30 show on a Spider-Man and they're 15 minutes away has 2 rows of moving seats. So I purposely did not get the moving seats.
Right.
And I sat way in the back.
But I'm sure the sales rep got them. Yeah.
The sales rep comes back and gets me because he wants me to sit in these moving seats. So I'm then sitting in. It's awkward. I have my cheeseburger, my fries, my drink, and what am I supposed to say? So I go up to where he's got the seat all set up for me, and I'm now sitting and watching Spider-Man with him, his wife, and his 2 kids.
Nice.
That are there to watch Spider-Man. And the chair is throwing me all over the place. Like left, right, explosions, and Spider-Man swinging, and I'm going up and down.
Or does it move just with the movie?
It moves with the movie.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
like,
you were moving it. Okay.
No, it moves with the movie. Like it's not just to like sit back and recline. It moves with the movie. Like at one point they're on a boat.
Yeah, that's not a burger move. Yeah, you don't want the burger.
And my seat is bouncing with the boat, and I'm trying to watch Spider-Man, and I'm swinging back and forth in my seat. And all I wanted to do, all I wanted to do was a night to relax. And I've got my 3D glasses on, and my fries are bouncing, and it was not a relaxing moment because I was getting thrown left and right. My neck is all tight because of all the movements, and also during the movie, he kept turning to look at me, like to make sure I'm loving the seats.
Experience, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just smiling through the whole movie. So the movie ends. And he's like, "Oh, so what do you think about it?"
Movie, dude, dessert. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm stuck, and I'm like, I'm all by myself down here. So there's no one I can go to be like, "Oh, there's my friend." It's like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck. So after the movie, he's like, "So what do you think?" And I said, "It was good. It was it's a fun experience." I said, "I like it more than 3D because I don't like 3D either." But he goes, "Yeah, well, I went into the calibration before the movie, and I made sure to boost our seats up as high as they'll go." So that's why I was getting thrown all over the place because he wanted to impress me. So he boosted it to like extreme mode.
That's crazy. That's funny.
So yeah, I'll probably share about that on the on 336 Daily as well. But why not get it out on here too? It was funny, awkward, and then of course he did the little sales pitch of you guys should be installing these seats and come and servicing these seats for me here at this theater.
Yeah, and you'll never go to that movie theater again in your life.
Oh,
you better find a movie theater.
Yeah, I thought I'm in Daytona. I don't need a disguise. Now I do.
Yeah. So. All right, on that note, check out Josh's 336 Daily about that and about other nonsense. Check us out on all the platforms, Instagram, Twitter. If you haven't liked us on Facebook, go ahead and do that.
I got one more shout out.
Yeah, one more shout out. Go ahead.
I got to give a shout out to Eric Graham, who's down in South America. I forget which country. But he's a missionary down in South America, and I found out he listens each week because I ran into his dad at that middle school camp last week. And his dad was all excited because Eric's a listener, and apparently we are what helps him get through not having much Orioles talk down in South America.
Shout out to you, Eric. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it feels like we're definitely more popular outside of Baltimore than inside, or outside of Maryland than inside of Maryland. And it's good to get the international listeners. That's always fun.
Right. Eric, ask your dad about those millennials. The dad was on Team Orange, I believe.
Oh, I'm sure he's fired up about it, right?
I don't know. He's a pretty laid back guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes didn't bother him.
I feel like the adults can get more fired up about this than the kids do.
Oh, they do.
Because the kids see this all the time, right? Because they're being raised in the strawberry generation. The parents, can sometimes see it more clearly.
Oh, yeah. I was waiting for participation trophies to come on out.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Well, enjoy your time in the Outer Banks.
All right. I'll see you, Josh.
Say hi to Bert for me.
I will say hi to Bert.
All right. See ya.
See ya. And as always, go O's.
Thank you for listening to the Section 336 podcast. Please go to iTunes and Facebook for all complaints or the occasional compliment. If I were you, I would not take any baseball advice from these guys. Josh and Matt were raised by an Orioles-obsessed father, and Bert fell in love with Don Mattingly. He has a thing for mustaches.